Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss one of the most important concept of economics, that is break-even analysis. After completion of this class or video, you will be in a position to understand what is break-even analysis, what is significance of break-even analysis, what is the limitations of break-even analysis, and the application of this break-even analysis in business decision areas, and also the determination of break-even point. So this is one of the most important concepts of economics or the techniques of economics, in which the business uh, incorporate in order to take the decisions in various business decision areas for the optimal solutions. So apart from the various objectives of the business, like increasing the customers, increasing the business operations, increasing the business activities, and also the research and development activities of business, profitability maximization or maximizing the profits also one of the most important objective of any business. So here maximizing the profits is the responsibility of the managerial economist any business. So to monitoring, as a part of monitoring this profitability position of the business, managerial economists need to study the various internal factors like cost, the price of the product, and the number of units that business is producing, which are impact on the volume or value of the business or profitability position of the business. So here this is very important technique or the concept that the managerial economics can apply in order to understand, in order to study these three internal factors: the cost that they are incurring in producing the product, and the price that they are fixing on the products, and also the number of units that they are producing, or the size of the services that they are providing to the customers. This is very important for the managerial economist to apply in order to take the decisions in various managerial areas, like make or buy decision, or product mix, or add or they drop the decisions in the business, and many. So this plays a very significant role in any business irrespective of the nature, whether it is a manufacturing company or the service company. And this break-even analysis is playing a significant role. But here, compared to the services organization, the manufacturing companies are utilizing or using this break-even analysis concept significantly in order to take the decisions in many areas. So here the break-even analysis is the analysis of a break-even point. And the question is, what is break-even point? Break-even point is, it is a process of analyzing the break-even point or determining the break-even point where the companies gets no profit and no loss. Or in other words, we can also define the break-even analysis as the point where the companies gets or attain no profit and no loss is known as break-even point. At this point, the total revenue of the business is exactly equals to the total revenue of the total cost of the business. Means total revenue equal to the total cost. Now let us see the simple definition for the break-even analysis. That is, break-even analysis is the process of determining the break-even point where the business attained no profit and no loss. So when the business will attain the no profit and no loss, when the total revenue of the business equal to the total cost. When this equation attains in the business, then we can say that the business is at a break-even point where there is no profit and there is no loss. And here, when this total revenue exactly equals to the total cost. See, the business firm will expect some profits in the business. The business will expect some profits in the future. So here the business need to take the decisions in production in terms of units or the services to attain the desired profits or the expected profits. So what is the basis? What is the basis, or how many number of units that business need to produce? How much service the business need to provide in order to attain that expected profits in the future? So that number or the size of the service will be determined by the break-even analysis. Means here the break-even analysis is also provide such information to the business that the number of units that business need to produce in order to attain the break-even point, where the companies gets total revenue equal to total cost, where the companies gets the no profit or no loss. Or it is not only to attain the break-even point, also it will help to the business to produce the number of units in the market, in the business, in order to sell in the market to achieve the desired profits or the targeted profits. So this is not only providing or helping in determining the number of units to produce in order to attain the no profits and no loss, and also help in the business or the economist to determine the number of units to produce in the business in order to achieve our target profits or desired profits. So it refers to, break-even analysis refers to the no profit, determination of no profit or the no loss point, or analysis of break-even point. It is also defined as the no profit or the no loss point, and it represents that the volume of production where the total cost is exactly equals to the total sales revenue, resulting into a no profit or no loss situation. It is very important because here it is used to determine the minimum number of units to produce to attain the total revenue is equals to the total cost and to avoid the losses. See here, every business may incur losses. Every business may incur losses. To avoid such loss, we require to apply this break-even analysis technique. It is also helping to the management and the managerial economist in the business in profit planning and its control, and therefore it is considered as a very important managerial tool or the technique for every business. It is also defined as analysis of cost and their possible impact on revenues and volume of the business. Therefore it is also called as a CVP analysis, that is cost, volume and the profit analysis. A firm is said to be attain the break-even point where the total revenue equal to the total cost, where the total cost comprises the fixed cost and the variable cost. Therefore, the important factors of the break-even point are fixed cost and the variable cost and the total cost of the production. So this is the simple introduction of break-even point. Now what we discussed about the break-even point? Break-even point is the point where the companies attain the no profit or the no loss, or where the total revenue is equals to the total cost. For example, here the total sales of the business is 100 rupees. The total sales of the business is 100 rupees, where the total cost of the production is also 100 rupees. This is the situation we can set that break-even point. Here the revenue in terms of rupees is 100 rupees. The cost in terms of rupees equal to 100 equal nothing but the break-even point, where the total revenue exactly equals to the total cost. We can say that the situation is said to be the break-even point. What is revenue here? Revenue means the total sales. What is cost? Here the total of fixed and variable, fixed and variable cost. So the total of fixed and variable cost exactly equal to the sale is said to be the break-even point, where sales means selling price per unit multiply with the number of units. The number of units produced and sold in the market into the selling price per unit equal to the total sales. Here the total cost means fixed cost plus variable cost equal to the total cost, where the total sales proceeds equal to the total cost of the production is said to be the break-even point. Very simple to understand and to remember the definition of break-even analysis and also the break-even point. Break-even analysis is it is the process of determination of break-even point, where business attained no profit and no loss, where the break-even point is where the companies gets no profit and no loss. So this is a small introduction about the break-even analysis and break-even point. So we need to use different terms in order to ascertain, in order to determine the break-even point. So the terms that we are using in break-even analysis known as terminology using in break-even analysis. Now let us see what are the different terms. The first one is fixed cost. Fixed cost. What is fixed cost? The name of the cost itself revealing that it is fixed. Means fixed cost is the cost which is remains constant at any level of production for a particular period is known as a fixed cost. It is remains constant at any level of the production irrespective of the level of the production. Here the cost remains constant, there is no changes. Examples for the fixed cost is rent for the building. See, we are conducting business operations in building which is not our own. We are paying some rent for the building for every month. So irrespective of business operations, we need to pay the rent for the building per month. Every month we need to pay the rent for the building, whether you are conducting business operations or not, whether there is a production or not, we require to pay the rent. Employees salaries, irrespective of level of production, we need to pay the salaries to the employees, whether there is a production or not, operations or not, we need to pay the salaries to the employees. So this is also one of the type of example for the fixed cost. Let us see here units, production in units, and rent per month for building. For example, we are conducting business operations in building which is not our own. We are paying rent for building. So 10 units we are producing on the first day, first month, that is January, February, March, April. Here 10 units we are producing where the business building rent per month is 1000 rupees. 1000 rupees. So during the month of February there is no demand for our products. We didn't conduct any business operations even though we need to pay 1000 rupees. And there is a production during the month of March, that is 50 units. There is no changes in rent. Here during the month of April we produce 60 units. Still we need to pay only 1000 rupees. See, Here there is a fluctuations or changes in the production, but there is no changes in the rent for the building per month, which is remains constant. So here it means that the cost which is remains constant irrespective of level of production is known as fixed cost. Simply we can say that the cost which is remains constant irrespective of level of business operations is known as a fixed cost for a particular period. See, for example, here you have agreed that in 2020 to pay 1000 rupees per month in terms of rent. So here this applicable only for the year 2020 up to December 31st 2020, from January to December 31st, January 1st to December 31st 2020. After December 31st 2020, here the rent may increase to 1500 or decrease to 900. That is based on the demand for the building or mutual understanding between the owner of the building and the producer. See, here the rent per month in the year 2020 may increase to 1500. Means this is remains constant for a certain period or for a short period. After that the cost may change. But here the cost which is remains constant for a particular period irrespective of changes in the level of production is said to be the fixed cost. That is the definition or meaning of fixed cost. The cost which is remains constant irrespective of level of production is known as fixed cost. The second one is variable cost. Variable cost. So variable cost is exactly opposite to the fixed cost. Here, based on the level of production, the cost which is changes is known as variable cost. Here, the cost which will change according to the level of production is said to be the variable cost. Example for the variable cost is all the direct expenses of the business. Direct expenses of the production, otherwise all the direct expenses are comes under the variable cost. The direct expenses means, example, raw material. Raw material is one of the direct expenses that are incurred by the business to produce the product. So here the cost of raw material, the total cost of raw material, cost of labor, cost of fuel, water, gas, transportation, so all these are comes under the direct expenses, and these direct expenses will change according to the level of production. For example, here if you produce 10 units, you are incurring 100 rupees in terms of cost. So this is the cost, and it is in terms of units. You are producing 10 units, you are incurring 100. If you increase it to 20, if you increase to 20 units in terms of quantity, you need to incur 200 rupees in terms of cost. How the number of units or the quantity of production is increasing, proportionately the cost of the production will also increase. Such cost is known as variable cost. If there is no production in the business, there is no variable cost. If there is no production in the particular month, there is no variable cost, because here the variable cost is the cost which is changes according to the level of production. If you are not producing any products, you need not to purchase the raw materials, you need not to procure the labor, you need not to purchase fuel, gas and other factors of production which are used to produce the products. Therefore here what we can say is variable cost is the cost which will change according to the level of production is said to be the variable cost. It is completely exactly opposite to the fixed cost. Fixed cost is the cost which is remains constant irrespective of the level of the production, whether it is increasing or decreasing or constant, there is no changes in cost is said to be the fixed cost. Here the variable cost is the cost which is changes according to the level of production. Example, cost of raw material, and other direct expenses are comes under the variable cost. And total cost. Total cost is the total of fixed cost and variable cost. Total of fixed cost and variable cost. Total cost means the total of fixed cost and variable cost, or fixed cost plus variable cost equal to the total cost. Next, semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost is the cost which is the combination of fixed and variable cost. The combination of fixed and variable cost is known as a semi-variable cost. Example, electricity bill. Electricity bill is an example for the semi-variable cost. For example, in case of electricity bill, here up to certain bill is fixed, and based on the consumption of the customer, we need to pay the remaining amount. So the bill which we are paying irrespective of consumption is the fixed cost, and the bill which we are paying based on the consumption of power is said to be the variable cost. So the total of these fixed and variable cost is total electricity bill. For example, here you need to pay minimum amount. Minimum amount is 200 rupees. 200 rupees. And here the variable cost is the cost which is changes according to the consumption, right? If you are consumed 10 units where the slab rate is 20 rupees per unit, then what is the total variable cost here? 200. 200 plus 200 equal to 400 rupees is the total electricity bill. So if you are not consuming 10 units, still we need to pay 200 rupees because it is fixed. That is the minimum bill the consumer should pay to the electricity department, and the remaining is based on your consumption. If you are not consuming anything, you need to pay minimum bill 200 rupees. So this variable cost is based on your consumption of the power in the business. So electricity bill is one of the example for semi-variable cost. Or telephone bill. Telephone bill also one of the example for semi-variable cost. Up to some part of the bill is fixed. Irrespective of consumption of calls, you need to pay some amount. The remaining amount is based on your consumption, that is in terms of calls. So you will be provided, you will be given some minimum calls as free, which will be paid certain fixed amount. So if you use the this telephone beyond the like minimum calls, then you need to pay the amount for the excess calls. That amount is known as a variable cost. So fixed cost for minimum bill, the remaining based on the consumption of the telephone. So the total of this bill is called as a telephone bill. There are two parts in semi-variable cost: fixed cost and the variable cost. Next, contribution. So contribution is the difference between the total sales and the variable cost. The total sales and the variable cost, or contribution means the difference between the total sales and the variable cost is known as contribution. So to ascertain the contribution, we require to ascertain the total sales of the production, the total sales of the business, and the total variable cost that they have incurred to produce the product. The difference between the total sales and total variable cost is the contribution. Next, contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio. Contribution margin ratio is the ratio between contribution and sales. Here the difference, the relation between contribution and sales is known as contribution margin ratio, that is contribution by sales. Or if you want to ascertain the contribution margin ratio in terms of unit, contribution margin per unit by selling price per unit. So the relation between contribution margin per unit and the selling price per unit is said to be the contribution margin ratio. This is also very important term that we are using in break-even analysis. And the margin of safety. Margin of safety. Right. So margin of safety is excess of the total sales over the break-even point is known as margin of safety. So here, for example, the break-even point we are ascertaining it 100 units, but you have produced and sold 150 units. This is your the total sales. Total sales of the business is 150, and you have ascertained the break-even point at 100 units. Means at 100 units you have attained no profit and no loss. Your investments are recovered at 100 units, and you have produced total 150 units. So if you want to know what is the margin of safety, what is the surplus in the business, means the difference between the total sales and the break-even point is known as margin of safety. Or we can also define the same as excess of the total sales over the break-even point. Excess of the sales over the break-even point is known as margin of safety. So this margin of safety you may calculate in two ways, that is margin of safety in terms of units and margin of safety in terms of value, that is in terms of rupees. That is in terms of rupees. Here if it is in units, margin of safety, total sales in units minus break-even point in terms of units. Whereas in case of value, total sales value minus break-even point in terms of value. So these are the two equations that we are using to calculate margin of safety, by using the total sales and the break-even point in terms of sales. Right? Here margin of safety is excess of the total sales that we have produced and that we have sold in the market over the break-even point is known as margin of safety. So they are the sum of the terms that we are using in break-even analysis, that is fixed cost, variable cost, total cost, semi-variable cost, contribution margin ratio, margin of safety. Apart from these terms, we have some other terms that we are using in break-even analysis, such as sales. That is sales. Sales means total sales proceeds. Total sales proceeds. Total sales proceeds means number of units sold into selling price per unit. Selling price per unit. Or you can also define the total sales as the product of the number of units sold and selling price per unit is known as the total sales proceeds, or the total sales conducted in the business in a particular period. Then another term is angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. This is also one of the terms that we are using in ascertaining the break-even point by using break-even analysis concept or technique. Angle of incidence is, it is an angle which is formed at a break-even point where the total revenue curve is cuts the total cost curve in the graph. For example, the total revenue curve is floating like this, where the total cost is floating like this. This is the total cost and this is total revenue curve. So this is the point where the companies gets no profit and no loss, that is break even point. The angle which is forming at break even point, this angle is known as angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. So what is angle of incidence? Angle of incidence is an angle which is forming at a break-even point, where the total revenue curve cutting or intersecting the total cost curve. So more the angle, here higher the profits, this side, right side. So below this break-even point, more the angle, higher the losses, otherwise more the angle, more the losses. Here more the angle, higher the profits. So the zone below the break-even point is the loss zone. This is loss zone, and the zone above the break-even point is the profit zone. Here we are dividing into the two zones, loss zone and profit zone. Below the break-even point zone is the loss zone. Above the break-even point is known as a profit zone. So here, what is angle of incidence? Angle of incidence is an angle which is forming at where the total revenue curve is cuts the total cost curve in the break-even point chart, is known as angle of incidence. The another term which we are using here is that profit volume ratio. Simply we are using the word as PV ratio. PV ratio, profit volume ratio. So profit volume ratio reveals the relationship between contribution and sales. Contribution and sales. The profit volume ratio reveals the relationship between contribution and sales. Right? So here what is contribution? Sales minus variable cost by sales. S means sales, V means variable cost. Sales minus variable cost by sales equal to the profit volume ratio. As we are measuring in terms of percentages, we need to multiply the product with the 100. Sales minus variable cost by sales into 100. This is the meaning of or definition of profit volume ratio. This is a very, very important term that we are using in break-even analysis. The next term is profit. Profit. Here, profit means the difference between total revenue and total cost. Profit or loss. The difference between total revenue and the total cost is known as profit or loss. If the total revenue greater than total cost, we can say there is a profit in the business, and if the total revenue is less than total cost, we can say there is a losses in the business, So the profit or loss, these terms also we are going to use in the break-even analysis. So they are the different terms or the terminology that we are going to use in ascertaining the break-even point by using break-even analysis. So what are the different terms? Let us see all the terms at one glance. What are the terms? Fixed cost, variable cost, total cost, semi-variable cost, contribution margin ratio, sales, profit, margin of safety, angle of incidence, PV ratio, so profit or loss, PV ratio. So they are the different terms that we have discussed, which we are going to use in analysis of or determination of break-even point, where the companies gets no profit and no loss, and also the total number of units to produce by the business in order to achieve the targeted profit or the desired profit. So they are the terms of the terminology using in break-even analysis. Now let us see what are the different assumptions of break-even analysis. So to apply the break-even analysis or to determine the break-even point by using the break-even analysis, we need to assume certain points in the business. If these assumptions are not good, hold good, then here the break-even point cannot be determined. So we need to fulfill all these assumptions. We need to follow all these assumptions in order to determine the break-even point by using the break-even analysis. Now let us see one by one. Here the first one is total cost classified into two. So the total cost of the production that we have incurred to produce the product must be classified into two, that is fixed cost and variable cost. The cost which we are incurring to produce the product should be in a position to classify into two, that is fixed cost and variable cost. We should be in a position to classify. If it is not possible to classify or divide into the fixed and variable cost, it is not possible to attain the break-even point, because we must have clarity about what is the total fixed cost, what is the total variable cost. Accordingly, we will attain the total cost of the production. We will calculate the total cost of the production. So the cost should be classified into two types of cost, fixed cost and the variable cost. Otherwise it is not possible. And the fixed cost, the second assumption is fixed cost. Respected to the fixed cost, this fixed cost remains constant. It is constant. If any changes in fixed cost, here these assumptions, this break-even point does not hold good. If any changes in the fixed cost, we cannot attain the break-even point. We cannot determine the break-even point. So fixed cost remains constant at any level of the production. Even any changes in the level of production, the fixed cost should be fixed. remains constant means unchanged. There is no changes in fixed cost. Here the next assumption is the variable cost. So variable cost vary proportionately with the volume of the production. It is not constant, it is changes according to the level of production. A variable cost should change according to the level of production. The level of production. Any changes in the production proportionately accordingly there should be a changes in the variable cost. It is one of the assumption of break-even analysis. And selling price. Here as we seen the selling price of the product in schedule, here the selling price is constant. There is no changes in the selling price at any level of production, or irrespective of changes in the demand for the products in the market or any changes in the business. Here we should not change the selling price. It is also remains constant. Respect to the selling price, it is remains constant in spite of the changes in the market. Any changes in the market, any changes in the production, any changes in the business. So here no changes will affect on the selling price. Here selling price always remains constant to determine the break-even point. And the next assumption is no changes in operating efficiency in terms of purchasing raw material, in terms of any. So here operating efficiency will not be changed during determining the break-even point. And volume of production. In case of volume of production, in only one factor affecting the cost, that is volume of the production is only the factor that is affecting the total cost. How the volume of the production increasing, the total cost of the production will also increase. Other than this volume of the production, here no factor will affect on the total cost of the production. So increasing the volume of the production, increasing the total cost of the production, decreasing the volume of the production, decreasing the total cost of the production, means only volume of the production is factor will affect on the total cost of the production. Next, no closing stock. No closing stock. It means that whatever the products we are producing, production in units equal to sales in units. It means that there should not be closing stock. If any closing stock realized at the end of the period, then the break-even point cannot be hold good. So this is one of the main assumption of break-even point, that is no closing stock should be there in the business at the end of the period at the time of determining the break-even point. If so, the break-even point does not hold good. And one product. The next assumption is one product. So one chart can reveal the break-even point for the one product. In case of multiple products, we need to construct the different products or the multiple charts or multiple break-even charts. So one chart can be used to represent one break-even point for one product only. In case of multiple product, the break-even point chart cannot be hold good. And here whatever the raw material we are purchasing to produce the product in the business, we can use that raw material can produce one product only. If we are using the same raw material for the multiple products, for example, in case of sugar factory, if the factory is producing both sugar as well as alcohol, here the raw material that we are purchasing in terms of sugar cane is used to produce the sugar, as well as the molasses is used to alcohol, as well sometimes generating the power. So the raw material is only one, that is sugar cane, but we are producing the multiple products with the same product. In such cases, the break-even point chart cannot be hold good, because one raw material is used for the different products. So this is also one of the most important assumption of break-even analysis. So these are the some of the assumptions of break-even analysis, such as the total cost classified into fixed cost and variable cost, and fixed cost is remains constant at any level of production irrespective of changes in the volume of the production. Here the fixed cost is remains constant. Variable cost is the cost which is changes according to the level of production. Only the volume of the production can change the cost of variable, that is changes according to the level of production only in terms of units. Selling price is also remains constant at any level of the production. Even any demand in the market for the products that we are producing, we cannot change the price of the product. We need to maintain the same level of the price in order to determine the break-even point. And no changes in the operating efficiency. And volume of the production only the factor will affect on the total cost of the production. And no closing stock. Whatever the products that we are producing must be sold in the market. There is zero closing stock. If any closing stock realized, this break-even point does not hold good, and means it will not show the break-even point in effectively. And one product, this chart is used to construct for only one product, or here this break-even chart is can be constructed for only one product. In case of multiple products, we need to construct more charts based on the number of products they are producing. So they are the assumptions of break-even analysis. Applications of break-even analysis. So break-even analysis can be applied in different areas where the company want to take the decisions about the make or buy. In case of make or buy decisions, so whether to produce the product or buy the product from the market in order to sell the same product in the market. In such cases, in this case, the break-even analysis concept can apply in order to take the decision. So manufacturing means whether the raw material is available or the factors of production are available, whether we are in a position to bear this total cost, and the total cost is reliable or not, whether we are able to fix the selling price more than the cost or not, and the price of the product is suitable for those products or not. If you fix the price that for that product, we may able to sell the same product in the market or not, respect to the manufacturing. Whereas respect to the buying the product in one market and sell the same product in another market. So based on the price of the product available in the market and the transportation cost and the total value of the price, we need to take the decision whether to buy the product in the market and sell the same product in another market. So in this case, the break-even analysis will give the suggestion to make or buy decisions. And selection of the production machinery, so as to get the maximum profit for the particular volume of the products. So here this break-even analysis is also help in to take the decision in purchase of machinery to produce the products for such particular type of products. So if you want to increase the volume of the production, we need to procure the advanced machinery. So in such cases also this break-even analysis is used or applied. So you need to produce certain level of products to attain the break-even point, or you need to produce this much total number of products in order to achieve the targeted profits. So in such cases we require the suitable machinery, qualitative machinery, advanced machineries in order to attain those targets, in order to achieve the goals. So in such cases also the break-even point will be applied, and whether to expand the production capacity or not. So in case of expanding production capacity, whether to expand the production capacity or not. So here if you want to produce 100 units in terms of number, you require to expand the production. For example, it is required to expand the production process in order to produce 100 units. So based on the remaining factors like fixed cost, variable cost and other factors of production, we need to take the decision on expanding the production capacity or not. Next, whether to add or drop a new product. To drop or add, drop the product or add the new product to the business. In this case also the break-even analysis can be given suggestion to the businesses to drop or add new product to the business. And also it is used to improving the profit performance by increasing the sales volume, and it is also used to improving profit performance. Profit performance in terms of increasing the volume of sales, increasing the selling prices, reducing the variable cost, reducing like other types of cost, and also reducing the variable cost per unit and reducing the fixed cost. So by reducing all these costs and reducing increasing the performance of the machineries, performance value of the selling price and increasing the volume of sales, here we will improve the profit performance. This is also possible only by applying the break-even analysis. So there are the various areas where the break-even analysis can be applied in order to increase the performance of the business, or in order to avoid the losses, or in order to achieve the desired profits or the targeted profits, such as make or buy decision, at the time of purchasing the machinery, advanced machinery, at the time of expanding the production capacities, to drop or add the new products in the business, and also in improving the profit performance of the business.